Good morning. Yesterday I talked about the beauty of doing nothing. And I didn't fail to mention the multi-dimensional reality of doing nothing. There's a physical level, which we label lazy. Oh, he's a do-nothing, not planning, scheming, dreaming, pursuing, chasing, acting out, making impact, making decisions, proclamations. These are all human doings. And I just touched on the tip of the iceberg. The list of human doings is endless. But the art of being, the art of simply living as a human being is overlooked, undervalued. And I've always had a natural propensity to examine things that are overlooked and undervalued, to find out why. The initial urge is to find out why, but the deeper underlying reason is that an intrinsic knowing that everything of real value, everything worth knowing, is undervalued and mostly unrecognized. So I became a fringe dweller, understanding from the earliest ages that what I was most interested is on the fringe of human inquiry. I just knew that it was in the fringes where the heart of the matter truly could be found. And part of my message yesterday about doing nothing can be further examined by what can we do that has any impact, no matter how infinitesimally small. What can we do? What is in or within our realm of purview? It all comes back to self. Everything else without is, by definition, not in our control. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do about the world as we find it. It is what it is. Doesn't need us, doesn't want us. So we come back to my mantra, let it go. Let everything go that's in the realm of not needing, not wanting, not expecting our efforts to change, control, manipulate, stack the deck. Let all of this go. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And let all those vestiges of control, impact, that we misleadingly expect to be able to change or have influence, have an impact. Let it, breathe it out. Let it go. This is what let it go means. Let go of the tension from your shoulders. Let go of the tension that many of us, including me, habitually carry in our abdomen. Let it go. And breathe in the essence of what we can impact. And it's limited to the confines of our physical body. Predominantly the mind, only because most of us are run by our mind. Others of us are run by our gut. And our gut is always vague. Where this can be way too explicit, way too defined. It's the non-definition, the randomness of fear. Gut is usually fear-driven, fear of the unknown. And the ultimate unknown, of course, is death. So as you learn to recognize that your sphere of influence is outlined by your body, your aura is larger and it can have an impact. It can influence to the good, but only as it blossoms from the heart, from inside, and exudes out your pores, your being, only as you first recognize your being by working on the things that you have at least a small chance to improve, to modify, to ultimately benefit from. Let it go is what you do when you breathe out. When you breathe in, You nurture, you sustain that which resides within your spark, your reflection of the intimate. So if your mind is your biggest influencer, you spend a lot of time within your mind. If you've got your fears are mostly what's driving you, you heal. When you begin the process of healing through conscious breathing, then you can work on the lesser, fear-driven, mind-driven. Pick your poison. But work on, focus on whatever predominates. And if you have any questions about that, it's always the mind. The mind is where the questions come from. The gut is where irrational fears, irrational in the sense that they're divorced from the rationality that we pine for, that we hope to nurture. So, doing nothing means it's referencing everything that's way beyond your job description. We just we can't be agents for change in the greater whole. We can, however, by focusing within, by building, by nurturing, by structuring, by creating mindful, peaceful, joyful being that can have, and only that can have impact on the world around us. But it's not through doing. Big lesson to learn. Now, when we talk about doing nothing, we're not including the effort necessary to sustain this shell, to sustain this body. It takes effort. There's things to do. A lot of it is on an unconscious level, breathing in, breathing out, heartbeat. But some is on a more conscious level. Recognition of what's real. To look in a world, in an illusory world, and search for the real. This is all part of the inward journey. And no matter how far, how much progress you make on the inner journey, there's always room for more. And today, I'm calling this always being, always becoming. It's not static. And we can come back to water. Water has always been amongst my greatest teachers, watching water. When water becomes still, and we use this as a way to describe stilling the mind, there's a point where still water becomes clear. But there's also a point where water without movement becomes stagnant. Life is momentum, movement. And the absence of light, of life, is non-movement. So this is where stillness, stilling the mind, so that you can begin to see the realms that you can work in, is usually a momentary insight. You breathe in stillness, you breathe out liberating, allowing the mind to do what it does, not taking it personally, not mistaking it for gospel, not looking to it for guidance. This is where laughter, a sense of humor, the best humor is recognizing how funny we each individually are, not taking ourselves so seriously. So the mind stills. We get a bout of clarity, and then we breathe out, releasing any effort that we may have advertently or inadvertently utilized to create this stillness. It has its rewards, and that's clarity. But where there is clarity in the world of non-duality, clarity has the seed of confusion within it. So once we try to hold on, we just encourage the growth of the seed of confusion until we become just a state of confusion. And again, within the state of confusion is clarity. This is the motion that I'm talking about, the running of water from place to place. Running water can defeat any obstacle placed in its path. Running water will wear down obstacles, damn it, bridge it, stop it from flowing. You take life away. Just as yearning for, making the effort to remain in a constant state of clarity stagnates life. And it's only a matter of time where that longing for clarity will just become clouded with confusion. And of course, when this happens, we just, oh, I had it for a minute. Rather than taking the opportunity of focusing on the confusion, embracing the confusion, just equally as you embraced your moments of clarity. So we use the metaphor of a spiritual journey, the journey to nowhere. And the joke is, know where, if you move the W, becomes now here. So any clinging, be it spiritually motivated, materialistically motivated, is the source of suffering. And that's where my mantra again, let it go. Breathe it out. And as you breathe in, selectively breathe in the healing, the light, the love of the universe, to take it within so that it can manifest through you. To the world. What I called earlier radiant consciousness. It's this radiant consciousness that can and does make an impact. It's a subtle impact, and most won't consciously notice. Those who do consciously notice may tend to gravitate around you, and you may have the beginning of a group who are looking for your guidance. And if that's becoming, if that's part of the motion of the world, wonderful. And if it's not part of the motion of the world, also wonderful. So we work so hard on becoming this spiritual path, the allegorical spiritual path, the journey. We work so hard to be. And it takes us, once we've reached the state where we can just be, then we start to recognize that it's impossible to remain in one state. The dynamics of the universe necessitates constant change. That's the difference between be and being. Being is a continual state. And always being leads to always becoming. If you're satisfied to just be, and perhaps if you misinterpret Some misinterpretation can evolve from doing nothing, because doing nothing is only understandable when considering its opposite, doing everything. And as you progress, you see that everything and nothing is again part of the river of life. Tide comes in, tide goes out. Breath goes out, breath comes in. Life goes out, life comes in. This is the song of the universe. This is the rhythm of life. So people think, well, they think of destinations. I've got to get there. First is the pursuit. I want to become awakened, as if it's a destination. And my question is always, okay, you get there, now what? It's just like people talk about a finite universe. And it's a sphere, perhaps, because it's easier for us to picture, visualize. So you have a sphere. And I always laughingly say, okay, you go to the sphere, you drill through. What's out there? So this leads to unlimited infinity. There can't be a beginning and there can't be an end. There's only continuity. And this is what I'm talking about. It's this continuity I'm talking about. Always being, always becoming. So this, I embrace this because I wouldn't want it any other way. And even if I did, what difference would it make? Again, I can do nothing about the world as it is, the world as it was, and the world it will become. All I can do is celebrate, enjoy, breathe, listen for my heartbeat, enjoy, love, and nurture the conditions for equanimity, the conditions to live in grace. And again, equanimity, living in grace are not discernible by anything or anyone from the outside looking in. These are states of being, very private and very personal. But they can create the conditions, the fertile soil, if you will, for the blossoming, for the expression of radiant consciousness. Just as the sun radiates heat, light, life, so too may we on our most humble level radiate love, non-judgment, appreciation. Now, the beauty, we get gifts along the road. We get brief glimpses of clarity, brief glimpses of stillness, where we escape the mind. But to maintain, to live in this world without judgment, without expectations, without needless expression of efforts to change, through doing nothing, we allow the constant river of life to flow, always being, always becoming. Now I hope as I share this with you that you find as much joy, as much happiness in the understanding that there's nothing to gain. And the beauty of realizing there's nothing to gain, you can appreciate, is equally true opposite. There's nothing to lose. It's timeless, effortless. Recognition can begin to lead to acceptance. We must all accept our limitations. Accept that no matter how hard we try, there's so very little within our spheres of results, within our spheres of accomplishment. So little we can do, so long we have to perfect this art. And it's simply by always being and always becoming.